Hi, today we're going to make okra curry. These are fresh okras. So before you make curry, you have to wash the okras, but don't wash it after you cut it. So you just wash it and then dry it and then cut it and then make the curry. So these are very fresh okras. I washed them. Now I'm going to pat them dry with a towel. You can use paper towel or a regular towel, nice clean towel. Pat them dry, then cut it. And be sure to chop off this top. We don't eat the top. Some people do eat it, but it's really hard. So I have little bit of oil. To that I have some cumin seed and a saffodida. Once it gets heated up, then I'm going to add my cut okra. And cut okra will add only salt and turmeric. Later we might add a little bit of spice if we feel like it. Rather than that, let's just cook with salt and turmeric and taste awesome that way. So I added my okra and I added salt and turmeric. Now I'm going to make the flame very low and cook it in low flame for 10 to 15 minutes until they're cooked. But do remember, don't put any water because okra gets really slimy. Larger sizes if you like. So we're going to start our heat. And in the pan we'll use some oil. So I'm going to be using about between 1 to 2 tablespoon oil, not too much. In fact, cooking okra you do need little bit extra oil because if you don't have enough oil it will be a little sticky. So we'll heat up our oil, and then to that oil I'll be putting 1 tablespoon of cumin seed and pinch of asafoetida hang. This one you usually put to most of the cooking when you begin the cooking. This is kind of spice, really good for your digestion, so it's better to use this on each and every cooking. So I'm going to add that. And once it starts getting lightly brown, then I'm going to add my bhindi, which is okra. We call it bhindi in Hindi. Into this one, when it gets little bit more, it will start getting heated up and the cumin seed will start splattering. That time I'm going to add about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. At this point you can add ginger and onion too, but this one I will just make it with the garlic. You can make different variation adding onion, ginger. So I will let the garlic and the cumin seed get little bit brown, but make sure never burn your cumin seed. If you burn your cumin seed, then your food will be bitter. So when it's getting cooked, at this point you can add the tomatoes and the cilantro, or you can add after cooking the bhindi. Little bit, when the bhindi gets little bit cooked, then you can add it. So I'm just going to use my tomatoes and cilantro at this point. So when your tomatoes are little bit cooked, then you can add your okra. So you let your tomatoes cook about 5 minutes. You can cover it and bring down the heat and then let it cook about 5 minutes.
So after I put the tomatoes, I put 1 teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of turmeric to it, and let the tomatoes cook about 5 to 10 minutes cover. So this way the tomatoes will be soft. Once it is soft and little bit cooked, then I will add the okra. So tomatoes been cooking for 5 minutes now. Now I can see it's kind of little bit cooked. Now at this point I'm going to add the okra. So you mix it properly, the okra and the tomatoes, and this one going to be dry curry. Now that's why at the beginning I told you we need a little bit of more oil than what we usually use, so this one requires a little bit extra oil. Now to this I'm going to use, as I mentioned to you, I always use a spice blend. I do not use like 10 different kinds of spices. So this is a spice blend called Achar Ghost. This is a spicy meat masala. So I'm going to use this one, about 1 teaspoon. So I added about 1 teaspoon of spicy ghost masala, which is spicy meat masala. You can get these masalas at your local grocery store, either Indian or Pakistani grocery store. You can find these masalas. Now you don't need to use any water in it. You just reduce the heat and let it cook for cover 10 to 20 minutes, but be sure to check it every now and then and toss it around so it doesn't get stuck to the bottom. Bring your heat to completely very low and let it cook for 10 to 20 minutes. So I'll see you in 20 minutes. So our okra is been cooking about 20 minutes now. Let's check and see how it is. So you see, it looks like it's done. Just to make sure it's done, you have to just taste one of these to see. At this point it seems done. Some people like okra a little crunchy and some people like very well cooked. So depending on how is your taste, you can cook it either 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So I will let it cook till 30 minutes and then I'll transfer it in a bowl and show it to you. At this point the okra really tastes good. At the end you can just check the spices and the salt, and if it's needed add little bit extra salt and little bit of any kind of masala. So I try to use a masala blend. It's much easier on cooking than adding 10 different masalas. Let me transfer it in a bowl and show it to you. So our okra is ready and it's really dry and spicy and very yummy. You can eat this one either with rice, brown rice, white rice or bread, or you can even eat it with puri. So this was very easy to do it and we did it in within 30 minutes. Now I have the frozen one. I'm going to make the frozen one. So you're going to start off with 1 teaspoon of oil in your pan. You can use more if you wish, but my channel is about healthy cooking and I use very little oil, so that's what I'm going to teach. So I'm going to start off with a little bit cumin seed, asafoetida, and a little bit of mustard seed. Now all these 3 ingredients are really good for our health. The mustard seed, cumin seed, and asafoetida. As you know, asafoetida and cumin seed, they both help with digestion, and asafoetida is really good for depression. And all the spices are really good and they all have some unique benefits in the health. So it's better to use a wide range of spices and using spices is better than using too much fat and cholesterol in your cooking. So as my spices are getting roasted, to this one, if you have fresh tomato, you can cut it and put it. If you don't, it's okay too, because this okra, I'm going to make it very simple yet very tasty. So my spices are cooked. So to that, I'm going to add 1 onion, large onion cut, and little bit garlic and ginger. So about 5-6 cloves of garlic and 1 inch thick ginger chopped, finely chopped. Now we're going to cook this one about 5 minutes, sauteing. तो आज मैं भिंडी बना रही हूँ. ये फ्रोज़न भिंडी है. फ्रेश भिंडी भी आप बना सकती हैं. अभी मेरे पास फ्रोज़न ही है. तो पहले मैंने पैन में 1 टेबलस्पून ऑयल दिया. आपको तो मालूम है मेरे चैनल है हेल्दी कुकिंग की, तो मैं बहुत ही कम ऑयल यूज़ करती हूँ. तो 1 टेबलस्पून ऑयल में मैंने क्यूमिन सीड, एसोफोटिटा एंड मस्टर्ड सीड दे के रोस्ट कर लिया. उसके बाद मैंने 1 ऑनियन एंड 4-5 गार्लिक एंड थोड़े से अदरक काट के मैं इसको अभी भूंज रही हूँ. ये ब्राउन हो जाएगा. तो ये ब्राउन होने के बाद आप एक फ्रेश टमाटो काट के इसमें डाल सकते हैं, आपके पास अगर है तो. अगर नहीं है तो इट्स ओके. तो उसके बाद मैं ये ओकरा जो है ये इस पर डालूंगी. इसको अच्छी तरह से हम भून लेंगे. ये ओकरा जो है 1 पैकेज है 16 आउंस की, 1 पाउंड की है. इसको 5 मिनट तक चला के अच्छी तरह से रोस्ट कर लें. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि ये ऑनियन जो है, ये ऑनियन जिंजर गार्लिक जो है ये भून चुका है. So now you see onion, ginger, garlic is done. To this one I'm going to add all the other spices. So इसमें ये सारी दूसरी मसाला भी. This is vegetable spices, hot one, and this is half a teaspoon turmeric, 1 teaspoon garam masala, and 1 teaspoon vegetable spice, and 1 teaspoon salt. So you put according to your taste. Everything goes in there. If you have a fresh tomato, don't forget to add that one. And I'm going to toss this one a few seconds. If you have a fresh tomato, you're going to toss it for about 5 minutes. If you don't, you just toss it 1 minute and then add your vegetable, because the spices will start smoking. So now I added my okra. Now at the end, after this one cooks, at the end I'm going to add little bit of hot mustard. It will bring out the taste. You can add prepared brown mustard, 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon, all the way at the end once okra is cooked. So as you see, it's been cooking for 5 minutes now, and to this I'm going to add now about 1 tablespoon, large tablespoon of prepared mustard. This is spicy brown mustard, or you can just grind some mustard seeds and put it. I'm just putting this spicy brown mustard because it has a kind of like a sour taste because it has vinegar in it. And just mix it with it and cook it for 5 more minutes. And at this point you should taste it and to see if it's spice enough for you. If you like more spicy, you can add some chopped green chili pepper. So I'm going to cook this on 5 more minutes. So I'm going to add a very spicy vegetable masala with crushed chili pepper in it. And then cover it for 5 minutes to cook it. So as you see, it looks like it's pretty much done, and I'm going to give you a picture. Oil is heated up, and to this one I'm going to add about half a teaspoon of cumin seed and a pinch of asafoetida. Now you know asafoetida is really good. Asafoetida actually relieves depression, so asafoetida also very good for gas and digestion. So I try to add it to all vegetables before cooking. So asafoetida, you need to put it always on a little bit of hot oil. I'm going to make all this kind of little bit brown. Make sure they get cooked properly. I think the cumin seed is roasted. Maybe a few more seconds. The oil is really hot. Yeah, it seems roasted now. Now I'm going to add my okra to this. You can make small pieces, you can make big pieces, it's up to you. I cut this one lengthwise, left long pieces. I'm going to saute this one for 5 to 10 minutes, then add the spices. Now that our okra is being sauteing for 5 minutes, I'm going to add all the spices to it and put a sprinkle of water. So we added the salt, turmeric, little bit of vegetable masala, little bit of garam masala, and little bit of cumin seed powder. So all the measurement of the masalas will be in the description box. I put about half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and 1 teaspoon of vegetable masala, half a teaspoon of garam masala, half a teaspoon of cumin seed powder. And to this one, you can cut a fresh tomato and give a little bit of fresh tomato. So to my okra, I'm going to give about 2 tablespoons of onion. This is onion kind of like sauteed, cooked, pre-cooked, and 1 large tomato seeded and chopped. After I'll mix everything, and I'll cover this one for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's properly cooked. But after 10-15 minutes, you should take out the cover, and you don't want to make it real mushy cookie. You want to keep it a little bit crunchy. And separately, I'll make the egg. The egg will be added to it at the very end. We'll be cooking this one separate and the egg separate. You see, this has really beautiful color. I'm just going to cover it for about 15 minutes. So as you see, our okra is done and it's really looking nice and tasting even better. Now I'm going to make the egg, and it's like an omelette, and then I'll put it on top of the okra, decorate on top of the okra, so that way it's egg with okra and it's very yummy. So we came to the last phase of the egg okra. So this phase I'm going to make the egg. To make the egg, I have 4 egg whites. You can add the yellow part if you eat it. I don't eat the yellow portion of the egg. So I have just 4 egg whites to that, and put little bit cumin seed, little bit salt, little bit vegetable masala, and some cilantro leaves, and you can put red chili pepper as well. I did not put in that because the vegetable masala is itself very hot, and little bit cumin seed and cilantro leaves. So I'm going to, I have little bit of oil in my pan, about half a teaspoon. I spread it around. Now I'm going to cook this egg, make it like a omelette, and then I'll cut it in 4 pieces. You can cut in smaller pieces, but we're not going to mess it with the okra. We're going to just decorate on top of the okra, put on top of the okra. So I'm going to wait for it to become like an omelette. I'm just going to divide into 4 pieces. So you're just going to lay it on top of the okra. So this will have your complete meal, the okra with all the tomatoes and all the spices, and then egg on top of it. And you can eat this one inside of bread, or you can eat it with the brown rice. It really tastes awesome. Once you eat this kind of vegetables, then you wouldn't want to eat any junk food. In fact, if you eat junk food, you might even feel sick. So our egg is almost ready. I made it like 1, 2, 3, about 8 pieces, and make it like 8 large pieces, not very small pieces. So if anyone doesn't eat egg, they can just pick it up. Okay, so it's ready. I'm going to put it on top of the okra and show you. So there is our okra, spicy okra with egg on top of it. Now if your guest or family member like eggs, it's wonderful. If they don't, they can just pick it up and put it in the side, since it's already in the side.